Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, April 27th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. I don't have my own MFT yet, nor do I have an NFT, but it's me, Jeremy Parrish. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. Please don't forget to check out the Coffee and Patreon. In today's show, don't fail them. The WWE Draft is underway, and there are inevitably going to be some people that are going to get lost, just like last year. So we got to see, who I truly believe will actually end up disappearing, and don't fail them. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right, so with the draft underway, there has been a new rule instated, and that rule is champions are locked to their brand. So no one is switching, which is good. We won't have a Charlotte and Becky fiasco, but what we got for you are the 5 WWE champions with the most to lose. We're going to start with number 5, Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Now, why do I say that? Yes, he ended Gunther's legendary streak, but here's the thing. I don't think Sami was supposed to beat Gunther. I think, honestly, Sami is a transitional champion because the story has always been about Chad Gable. Sami's going to get a couple wins, and he may even defeat Gable the first go round, but ultimately I think he's losing that championship to Chad Gable. Number 4, the WWE Tag Team Champions, A-Town Down Under. Yes, they're a fun team. Yes, they're entertaining, but Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, there's something missing there with them as a tag team. And yes, they can grow as, a lot of single stars that have been thrown at the teams come together. I'm looking at you, The Bar. I'm looking at you, Goldust and Booker T. But something just seems off about their team. I want to see them get a rack up a couple wins, and maybe I'll change my mind. But with the tag teams being swapped around on the brands, their title could be in some real flux. Number 3, NXT North America Champion Obi Film. Yeah, they love it. They love this guy. He's big, he's powerful, he's big, meaty men slapping man. Just go and watch that stand and deliver match. But anyone can take the championship. And here's the thing with NXT. There are a couple guys that fluctuate between the mid-card and the main event scene. And you got guys like Dijak, you've got guys like Brooks Jensen, and of course, you've got Tony D'Angelo and Andre Chase and Joe Gacy. There are just too many top-notch guys on that roster for Obi Film to keep his championship. Number 2, World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest. Now, when it comes to the world titles on, the separate brands, one always is like locked in as being the championship that is held for a long time, and the other one is the championship that usually switches over a couple months, and that's Damian Priest. That's the World Heavyweight Championship with Damian Priest. Depending on how the draft shakes out, there is a very strong chance that Priest's reign won't be long. I want to see who gets drafted over to Raw, see how the main event scene goes, but we could really see Damian Priest lose his championship before SummerSlam. Number 1, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors. This hurts me. This breaks my heart so much. Asuka and Kairi Sane deserve so much better, but I feel like they are going to be fed to Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. This will be the second or third time that Kairi and Asuka have lost to a team that's just not better than them, that can't go with them in the ring. And I get the narrative. I know it's supposed to go them, but it sucks that Asuka and Kairi are going to lose their championships sooner rather than later. We'll be right back. The spotlight is bright, it is shining, and who is it on? Well, one Willow Nightingale, the babe with the bomb, is your new TBS champion, and we know who her first feud will be against. That will be one Mercedes Moné. These two have a rivalry going back to the finals of the New Japan Strong Women's Championship final, where Mercedes Moné got injured and Willow became the inaugural champion. So Willow was no stranger to holding championships. She has this belt, and she's held other belts around different promotions. She's fought in main events, and it is time for her to get that shine and get that glow, backed by Chris Statlander, backed by Stokely Hathaway. I expect a really good reign for her. Now, will she lose the championship to Mercedes? Probably, but she has to get some defenses in. Now, I don't want her to be a transition champion. Hell, I need to know who attacked her and who attacked Mercedes, but there is intrigue here. I am looking forward to one of my favorites today, putting in the work, shining, growing, and helping to usher in a different change for the AEW women's division. Willow Nightingale, the spotlight is on you. What are you going to do with it? All right, so the draft is underway. Rosters are being built, and we're going to have an interesting grouping of male and female talent on both brands vying for championships, hoping to make their way to the top. But inevitably, someone's going to get lost in the shuffle. The draft happens kind of every year now, which I don't think they need to have one every year, because you don't exhaust all of your potential stories. You know what I mean? I think they should have the draft every 2 years. That would make more sense. But for now, what happened with last year's draft? Who got left out? Well, there have been releases that have already happened. So last week, Jinder Mahal, this year, the team of Veer and Sangha, Cameron Grimes, Zion Quinn, and Xia Li have all been released. They were giving nothing to do on the main roster. Jinder kind of did something. Zion Quinn only got on TV twice and he got his ass kicked. Cameron Grimes was kind of doing something, but inevitably he was lost in the shuffle. And when it came to Xia Li, there was something there they were going to do with her and Damage Control, but they never followed through. You also have guys like Von Wagner, who was also released. Nothing happened with him. Who else? Odyssey Jones. I'm sorry, Odyssey, but I'm expecting you to be released as well. And there are a few others. Dexter Loomis, Nikki Cross. They're just people that never get lost in the shuffle. They don't really know what to do, and that sucks. So I am hoping that it changes this time around with Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque now being in charge. So today's show is Don't Fail Them. These are people who I think may get lost in the shuffle and ultimately might end up getting released. So we're starting with Apollo Crews. This guy is a good hand, good talent. He went from defeating Big E at WrestleMania, carrying the United States Championship, to completely disappearing and then showing back up in NXT and having a revitalized career, to being called back to the main roster and nothing happening with him. He is just used to help put someone over, and a guy of this magnitude, of this talent, shouldn't be used to just put someone over. I don't understand what was the point of taking him away from NXT. I just don't get it. He is so much more than that. They should have just kept him in NXT. How about Dexter Loomis? They are completely failing this man. He debuted. He re-debuted after his release, had a little thing going on with The Miz, and then he's just completely disappeared. And there's already a built-in story for him. How is it that kayfabe-wise, he's married to Indy Hartwell with one of the best love stories they told in a really long time, and they've just not interacted on the main roster? Barely. Like, the way is right there. It looks like Ciampa's turning heel. Johnny may or may not join him. Candice and Indy are turning heel, and you can't find anything for Dexter Lumis. His whole family is right there. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now, yes, I know it might be a little hard to write for a character like that, but you can make anything work in professional wrestling. The guy is popular when he shows up on TV. He's pretty solid in the ring, has a unique character. I really don't understand how they've messed up so far with Dexter Lumis. This is something that they need to work on. JD McDonough. Yeah, joining the Judgment Day helped him, but it looks like the door is finally closing on the Judgment Day. There are a lot of moving parts. Damian Priest is the World Heavyweight Champion. What is Finn doing? Dom is kind of injured, but I think he might fall into the realm of moving with Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley's away. The odd man out is JD McDonough, just because Finn is a former world champion. Now, there's the fact that Finn and JD are really, really good friends, and Finn will do his best to look out for his boy. But JD has been nothing more than a joke, fodder for the Judgment Day to take losses left and right, and that needs to change. If you go and watch the match he had with Ricochet, you can see that the guy is really, really talented in the ring. JD McDonough is a guy that would work so much better in another promotion like NWA, MLW, or TNA. But his time may be up on the main roster. How about, and this hurts me to say, Shinsuke Nakamura? They failed him. Yes, he's a multiple-time Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion, but he is not a world champion at all on the main roster. They have failed him twice when it comes to two potential world championship reigns. One, winning the Royal Rumble and then losing to AJ Styles, having that horrible heel run, and then this past year, his honestly really good feud with Seth Rollins, and he was made to look like a joke. The fact that he whooped Seth Rollins' ass multiple times and they did not give him the world championship says a lot. That last man standing match they had really, really makes me feel some sort of way. He beat Seth Rollins' ass. He beat him to within an inch of his life, and they couldn't even give Shinsuke a 4-month reign as world champion. You could have essentially had Shinsuke win the championship from Seth, have a rematch, Seth goes away, now you make new face challengers to challenge Seth, right? And now you can have new world challenges to challenge Shinsuke. Then you can finally have Seth come back around the Royal Rumble. He can get the title back at the Royal Rumble, and then we can move forward there with the Seth, Drew, whatever, Punk, whatever. But Shinsuke should have won that feud. Shinsuke should have had a championship reign. With the promos he was doing, the in-ring work he was doing, the character work he was doing, they didn't do anything. And now, here we are, him losing more and more matches. This does not work. A man who main evented Wrestle Kingdom, who is a former IWGP heavyweight champion, and Shinsuke has not had a championship reign. Now it helps that hopefully he gets drafted to Raw and maybe finally can get the World Heavyweight Championship to himself. We shall see. How about the tag team of Kaden Carter, Katana Chance? Yes, I know that they are former tag team champions, but after losing the championships, they've gone back to being, well, losers. They are one of the 3 or 4 best tag teams on the main roster. You have them, you have the Kabuki Warriors, You have Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and you have The Way, Candice and Indy. Shayna and Zoe, that's a different story. They should both be world champions already. But Kaden and Katana might get lost in the shuffle. There's an abundance of women on the main roster. There's an even more abundance of women in NXT, and you know some women are going to get called up. So there's going to be an odd man out. And it sucks because they're fun, they're different, they're unique, and the women's division does not have a lot of high flyers. You have Katana and Kaden. You have Sol Roca, maybe Lyra Valkyria, but that's about it. You can't take something so unique from the main roster and not do anything with them. Piper Niven, one of the 2 or 3 powerhouses on the main roster. Piper is lucky that she is in a tag team currently with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. And I've seen Piper wrestle. I've seen Piper wrestle at the top of her game. Go look at NXT UK. Piper is so good. And like I said before, you need horses in your women's division. She's good on the mic. She's good in the ring. I'm just afraid that she ultimately might get lost. And that's not good. That's not good. She deserves something. Another tag team championship reign would work so well for her. Ultimately, honestly, the WWE women need a mid-card championship. They just do. NXT's about to get their Women's North American Championship, and the main roster women don't have anything. That would solve a lot of the issues here. Tegan Nox, it sucks to say, Tegan Nox is just irrelevant at this point. Yes, I love that she's fought her back from multiple devastating knee injuries, but what has she done since she's come back besides being some mini feud, be a lackey to Natalya? She's another woman like Xylee of last year who got lost in the shuffle, who's, I think, going to get lost in the shuffle, and that sucks. She's another woman who I think is pretty much gone just because of the abundance of women that they have, and it sucks to say. Now, I truly believe that she should go to TNA. TNA needs just a few more women, and Tegan Nox would very much help. And they would not be afraid to put the championship on Tegan Nox. Cedric Alexander and Ashanti Theodonis. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think these two will be cut within a year. And it sucks because there are things you could do with them. You've got OTM right in NXT, and you've got the Pride currently on SmackDown. You couldn't put them with them. You couldn't reform the Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin has already been released, and I think let's put it like this. Let's look at Cedric first. Fantastic wrestler. I know it. You know it. What has he done besides win the Cruiserweight Championship? Win the Tag Team Championship with the Hurt Business. And once the Hurt Business was gone, nothing was done with him. Sucks. And let's look at Ashanti Theodonis. Let's point to Hit Row. B-Fab's probably not going anywhere. She's now aligned with the Profits and Bobby Lashley. Top Dollar's doing his damn thing over there in TNA. And Swerve is your AEW World Champion. So what's going on with Ashanti Theodonis? Absolutely nothing. The OC, yes, they were drafted, but man, they really haven't done anything on the main roster. And I thought they were going to get drafted to NXT. No. You have one of the best tag teams, most recognizable tag teams in all professional wrestling, in the Good Brothers and Gallows and Anderson. And you have an incredible talent in Mia Yim, who is just doing nothing. She's been in a couple of War Games matches, but overall she's lost more than she's won on the main roster. Being with the OC keeps her in the limelight, keeps her in front of everybody, but do you really see Mia Yim winning a championship on the main roster? Do you really see her becoming women's champion or Texas champion? That's why I said the main roster women need a mid-card championship so bad. They need a mid-card championship. She would be one of the women that'd be perfect for it. Listen, they'd be women's European champion. Sounds good to me. And this one right here, this breaks my heart because I'm a fan of both of these women. Remember I talked about people getting lost? Yeah. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn have been lost. They debuted on the main roster as the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions and then lost the championships in a unification match and have done nothing since. They've had, I think, 2 or 3 appearances on the main roster, and then that's it. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. You have these championships and you have a bona fide team, and yet you can't do anything with them. Nah, that ain't it. Don't forget, Kaylee Ray is the longest running NXT UK Women's Champion and hasn't done it. She had to lose to Mandy Rose. A lot of women have been fed to Mandy Rose for no other reason than to put over Mandy Rose. And Mandy Rose is not a great talent. Yeah, she is one of the longest reigning NXT Women's Champions, but her reign is absolute trash by looking at the number of women who are just better than her that they fed to Mandy Rose. And Alba Fire is one of them. Alba and Isla deserve so much more. And I know this next lady catches a lot of flack, but Shotzi Blackheart, she fits in that realm for me of unique talent and in-ring people who WWE don't have. Brawlers, fighters. Mia, Zoe, Shayna, Shotzi, Liv. Brawlers, fighters. That's what you need. She stands out. And yes, she's recovering from a knee injury. What do you think is going to happen when she comes back? I don't think anything's going to happen. And that sucks. She's fun. She may not be Natalya or Serena Deeb in the ring, but she brings us something, a special je ne sais quoi to professional wrestling, and you need women like her. And lastly, when we look at the NXT roster, everybody except for Mello, Dragunov, Corbin, and Lyra Valkyria. Mello already got drafted. Corbin got drafted. Dragunov's getting drafted. Lyra Valkyria is getting drafted. So remember when I talked about the women having a lot of people? Lyra's going to get caught up and get pushed because Roxanne's staying on NXT. And look at the women who have been used. They called up Kiana James, which means she's taking someone's spot. And you've got Fallon Henry, you've got Blair Davenport, you've got Gigi Dolan, you've got Ariana Grace, Soroka, Lyra Valkyria, Lola Vice. There's so many women, someone's going to get lost in the shuffle. You are not safe because they have shown that Lyra is someone that they are completely behind. She has a win over Becky Lynch. Mello, don't miss. Dragunov, Corbin, they're going to be stars on the main roster. Tony D'Angelo, Andre Chase, Joe Gacy, OTM. What's going to happen with all of them? Inevitably, there's going to be people that call up again, don't get used, and that's not good. hopefully in this new era, which is what we're calling it right now, things will change. And you can see that things have started to change with the releases coming out of last week. So we shall see. Is there anybody else you think will get lost in the shuffle? Hopes doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Should have added someone to the list. And I know Shinsuke's the really big one, but they failed him when they had Seth Rollins defeat him. But that is our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Come back either Sunday or Monday for next week's schedule. I'm still putting that together. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. That is our show, and as always, Isla Dawn, Willow, Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Anna J. Bailey, and G. Dolan. Holla at your boy. Peace.